President Trump, we speak to you today not just as journalists but as citizens, deeply concerned by a clear double standard in our justice system and by the unfair treatment of one of your staunchest allies, former Culpeper County, Virginia Sheriff Scott Jenkins. Sheriff Jenkins is scheduled to begin serving a 10-year federal prison sentence. His offense? Appointing donors to unpaid auxiliary deputy roles. It was a serious lapse in judgment, but not one that warrants a decade behind bars. This is not justice. This is a political prosecution. Jenkins is a conservative, a MAGA Republican. He stood with you, served your movement, and never hid his loyalty. And for that, the Biden-era Justice Department made an example out of him. Now contrast that with what's happened, or not happened, just a few counties over. Augusta County Sheriff Donald Smith operates a similar auxiliary deputy program, one riddled with allegations of favoritism, romantic appointments, and untrained personnel wearing badges. Yet he has not been charged, not investigated publicly, not punished. Even more disturbing is his connection to one of the most chilling human trafficking cases Virginia has ever seen. Sheriff Smith was closely associated with Felix Chujoy, a convicted trafficker who, along with his mother, lured undocumented workers from Peru with false promises. These victims were then forced to work for no pay at a restaurant called Inca's Secret, while being confined in Chujoy's home. We have reviewed video testimony and signed victim statements indicating that during this period, while the victims were being held in forced labor, Sheriff Smith was staying upstairs with Chujoy, their trafficker. The victims were not allowed to leave the home. They were forced to be slaves. Smith was later investigated by a federal grand jury for potentially lying under oath about his role in the case, but no charges were ever filed. The Biden DOJ reportedly declined to act, fearing political backlash over targeting a gay sheriff. Mr. President, this is reverse DEI in practice. It's a system where the politically favored are shielded from consequences and those aligned with you are prosecuted to the fullest extent, regardless of proportionality or even basic fairness. It is injustice and it simply cannot stand. We are not excusing Sheriff Jenkins's actions, but he's lost his badge, his career, his good name and his freedom. He has paid the price. A 10-year prison sentence is not justice, it is a political statement. You, Mr. President, have the power to correct it. Granting Sheriff Jenkins a full pardon or commuting his pending sentence would restore faith that justice is blind, that fairness matters, and that those who stood with you will not be left behind by a system stacked against them. If people like Sheriff Donald Smith can still wear a badge, despite credible ties to a human trafficking ring and federal perjury concerns, then Scott Jenkins, who has already paid a steep price, deserves a second chance at life as a free man. To stay up to date on the latest crime and justice news, subscribe to Breaking Through News on the Newsbreak app, on YouTube or at breakingthrough.com.